Welcome to our video on Paris Agreement progress. Where do global climate policies stand? Today, we'll dive into the key objectives set forth by the Paris Agreement and examine how nations around the world are participating in this critical initiative. We'll also explore the progress that's been made in reducing emissions, the financial commitments countries have pledged, and the expanding role of renewable energy in this global effort. Finally, we'll discuss the importance of international cooperation and what the future holds for climate policies in the wake of ongoing environmental challenges. 1. Goals of the Paris Agreement. The Paris Agreement, a landmark accord reached in 2015, sets ambitious targets to combat climate change. Its primary goal is to limit the rise in global temperatures to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, with a hopeful aim to cap the increase at 1.5 degrees Celsius. This target is crucial to prevent the most catastrophic impacts of climate change, such as severe weather events and rising sea levels. Participating nations are required to submit nationally determined contributions, NDCs, which are essentially their individual climate action plans. These NDCs outline strategies for reducing greenhouse gas emissions and adapting to climate impacts. By encouraging countries to set their own targets, the agreement fosters a sense of ownership and responsibility. The collective effort is designed to create a global movement towards a more sustainable future. 2. Global participation. The Paris Agreement has garnered unprecedented global support, with 195 countries initially signing on. Today, 193 parties remain committed to the accord, showcasing a near-universal recognition of the climate crisis. Notably, the United States, after a brief withdrawal, rejoined the agreement in 2021. This move highlighted a renewed focus on climate policy and underscored the importance of American leadership in global environmental efforts. The return of the U.S. was seen as a significant step, as its participation can influence other nations to strengthen their commitments. This vast participation indicates that climate change is a shared global challenge that transcends borders. The agreement serves as a collective framework for countries to cooperate and collaborate on climate solutions. 3. Progress on emissions reduction. The battle against climate change sees a mixed picture when it comes to emissions reductions. While global carbon dioxide emissions have shown signs of stabilizing, they are not decreasing rapidly enough to meet the 1.5 degrees Celsius goal. Current policies suggest a trajectory leading to a temperature increase of 2.4 degrees Celsius to 2.6 degrees Celsius by the century's end. This is a worrying trend, as even a slight increase beyond the target could have severe consequences for ecosystems and human societies. The slow pace of reduction highlights the need for more aggressive and immediate actions. Nations must enhance their climate policies and accelerate the transition to low-carbon economies. The urgency is palpable, and the window for effective action is narrowing. 4. Financial commitment. Financial support is a cornerstone of the Paris Agreement, especially for aiding developing countries in their climate efforts. Wealthier nations pledged to mobilize $100 billion annually by 2020 to assist these countries in addressing climate change. However, this target remains unmet, with only about $83 billion raised by 2023. This shortfall underscores a significant funding gap that hampers the ability of developing nations to implement robust climate actions. Bridging this gap is crucial, as financial resources are needed for technology transfer, capacity building, and adaptation measures. Meeting the financial commitments is not just a matter of fairness but a necessity for global climate resilience. The disparity in funding highlights the challenges faced by developing countries in contributing to global climate goals. 5. Role of renewable energy. Renewable energy has emerged as a key player in global climate strategies, with many countries ramping up their investments in this sector. The European Union, for instance, aims to achieve climate neutrality by 2050, with renewables set to account for a significant share of its energy mix. This shift towards cleaner energy sources is essential for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Solar, wind, and other renewable technologies offer sustainable alternatives to fossil fuels, which have been the primary drivers of climate change. The transition to renewables is not only environmentally beneficial but also economically advantageous, as it creates jobs and stimulates innovation. Embracing renewable energy is a critical step towards achieving the Paris Agreement's goals. 6. Global cooperation and future outlook. Looking ahead, global cooperation remains vital for the success of the Paris Agreement. The 2024 Global Stocktake will serve as a critical assessment of the collective progress made by all nations in meeting the agreement's goals. This process aims to identify areas of improvement and encourage countries to strengthen their NDCs. Technological innovation and increased international collaboration will be essential for achieving climate targets. The future of global climate policy hinges on the ability of nations to work together and share best practices. By fostering a spirit of cooperation and ambition, the world can make significant strides towards a sustainable and resilient future.